Unlock the Buddhist secrets to a peaceful start. Welcome to Buddhist Stories, a space where we explore the timeless wisdom of Buddhism through stories that challenge our perceptions and invite us to live more mindfully. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to never miss a story that could transform the way you see the world around you. Have you ever looked in a mirror and wondered, where has the time gone? Or, perhaps, why does aging feel like something to fight against? If you've ever struggled with the inevitable changes that come with getting older, you're not alone. Aging, whether we like it or not, is a journey that every single one of us must traverse. And it's natural to feel conflicted when we face the visible signs of aging, the wrinkles, the gray hair, the slower pace. But what if I told you that this process of aging, which society often frames as a loss, is actually one of the most beautiful experiences we can embrace? Could it be possible that, instead of fearing it, we should learn to welcome it with open arms? In a world that often glorifies eternal youth and pursues an illusion of agelessness, we are left wondering, is aging really a loss? Or is it, in fact, a natural and beautiful unfolding of life? Society tells us to chase youthfulness, to fight against the clock, to cling to the appearance of our younger selves. But what if all of that causes more suffering than peace? What if we have it all wrong? In this video, we'll explore the Buddhist perspective on aging, an approach that offers us profound peace and insight in the face of this inevitable process. Instead of viewing aging as a burden or loss, the Buddhist teachings invite us to see it as a beautiful transformation. Through personal reflections and deep wisdom, we'll challenge the way we see aging and uncover how we can experience this phase of life with grace and gratitude. So, what exactly does Buddhism say about aging? What if, instead of clinging to the illusion of eternal youth, we embrace the wisdom that comes with age? How can we reframe the signs of aging, like wrinkles and graying hair, as symbols of the life we have lived rather than symbols of something fading away? These are the questions we'll explore together in today's video. Stay with me, and by the end, you may find yourself looking at aging in an entirely new light. Let's dive deeper into this Buddhist perspective. In the Buddhist teachings, aging is not something to fear or fight against. It's something to be understood and embraced. The Buddha spoke of anicca, the law of impermanence, which tells us that everything in life, whether it's our body, our thoughts, or our experiences, is subject to change. Aging, then, is not an anomaly or a tragedy. It is simply a natural part of the ongoing cycle of life. The Buddhist teachings on aging are rooted in the understanding that nothing in life is permanent. So, instead of resisting the changes in our bodies, Buddhism invites us to accept them and view them with a sense of peace and equanimity. This mindset can transform how we experience the passage of time. We no longer have to fear or mourn the changes that aging brings. Instead, we can embrace the process, knowing that it is part of the natural unfolding of our lives. But how can we practically apply these teachings to our daily lives? How can we stop worrying about the things that seem to be disappearing? As we get older, our youthful appearance, our energy, or our vitality. That's where Buddhist stories and teachings come in, offering powerful lessons that can help us shift our perspective. One of the most enlightening stories comes from the Zen tradition, where we encounter an elderly woman who struggled with the changes in her own appearance. She went to a master, feeling distressed by the signs of aging on her body. "Master," she asked, "I no longer recognize myself. My beauty has faded." The master, understanding her grief, took her to a garden where a cherry blossom tree was in full bloom. He pointed to the tree and asked, "Is this not beauty?" The woman nodded, her eyes softening at the sight of the delicate flowers. Then, The master directed her attention to a nearby ancient pine tree. Its bark was weathered, its branches twisted, but it stood tall and dignified. "And what of this tree?" the master asked. The woman hesitated before replying. "It is different, but it is dignified. It has strength." The master smiled and said, "Just as the cherry blossom is beautiful in its fleeting moment, so too is the pine tree beautiful in its strength and endurance. Both are beautiful in their own way." This simple yet profound story reveals that aging, like the pine tree, is not something to be feared. Rather, it is something to be embraced for the strength and wisdom it brings. Just as the pine tree stands firm, weathering the storms of life, so too can we face the changes that come with age with dignity, strength, and grace. So, what does this mean for us? As we age, we experience a shift in the kind of beauty we value. It is no longer about smooth skin or a youthful appearance. True beauty, as Buddhism teaches, comes from within. It is found in the wisdom we gain through experience, the kindness we offer to others, and the way we carry ourselves with grace and acceptance. The wrinkles on our faces, the gray in our hair, and the slowing of our steps, all of these are symbols of a life lived, lessons learned, and experiences cherished. These are not things to be mourned, but things to be celebrated. Are you ready to see aging in a new light? Are you ready to embrace the wisdom that comes with each passing year? In the next part of this video, we'll explore how you can apply these Buddhist teachings to your own life and find peace in the natural process of aging. So, stay with us, and let's journey together toward a deeper understanding of what it truly means to age with grace, wisdom, and peace. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and comment below with your thoughts. How do you view aging, and what are the ways you have embraced or resisted it in your own life? Let's start a conversation. Your thoughts matter, and they might just inspire someone else who's going through the same journey. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the timeless wisdom of Buddhism here at Buddhist Stories. The illusion of permanence. A deeper exploration of Buddhist wisdom on aging and the nature of change. In the world today, the concept of permanence is an illusion that many of us cling to, often without even realizing it. The truth is that nothing remains the same forever. This understanding is deeply embedded in the teachings of Buddhism, particularly in the doctrine of anatta, non-self, and anicca, impermanence. As we journey through life, we inevitably encounter the reality of aging, a process that often makes us confront the fragility of our existence. We find ourselves holding on to fleeting things, our bodies, our possessions, our careers, all of which are subject to change. But what if this very change, which we so often resist, is not something to fear but rather an opportunity for profound spiritual growth? The Buddhist perspective on impermanence and non-self. Buddhism teaches that all phenomena, whether they be physical, mental, or emotional, are impermanent. This is the core of the teaching on anicca. Everything is in a state of constant flux. Our bodies, like the world around us, are in a perpetual state of change. We are born, we grow, we age, and eventually, we die. The impermanence of life is not just about the passing of time. It is about the way everything around us is continuously evolving. Nothing in this world is permanent, not even our sense of self. At first glance, the impermanence of life might seem like a tragic and unsettling truth. After all, we spend our lives seeking stability, trying to hold on to relationships, careers, and personal achievements. We are conditioned to fear loss and cling to the idea that what we have will always remain. But Buddhism invites us to see things differently, rather than clinging to permanence. We are encouraged to embrace the flow of life with acceptance and equanimity. A key teaching in Buddhism is anatta, the doctrine of non-self. This teaches that our sense of self is not a fixed, permanent entity. Just as a river is not the same from one moment to the next, so too is our sense of self always changing. We are not the same person we were a year ago, or even a minute ago. Our thoughts, feelings, and experiences are constantly shifting, like the ripples on the surface of a river. Understanding this impermanence can be liberating, as it frees us from the burden of trying to hold on to an illusion of a permanent identity. This brings us to the central paradox: while we cannot control the impermanence of life, we can learn to live in harmony with it. By accepting that nothing is permanent, we open ourselves to the wisdom of living fully in each moment, without attachment or fear of loss. A story of wisdom and letting go. There is a Zen story that beautifully illustrates the Buddhist view on impermanence and the futility of clinging to the past. A wise monk, who had spent his life in quiet contemplation and service to others, was asked by a young disciple one day, "Master, do you not feel saddened that one day your name will fade, and people will forget the wisdom you have shared?" The monk, with his characteristic calmness, smiled and pointed to the river flowing beside them. "Where is the water from yesterday?" he asked. The disciple, puzzled by the question, replied, "It has flowed on, Master." "Exactly," said the monk, "the river does not cling to yesterday's water, nor should we cling to the past. Our actions, like the flowing river, leave ripples, but the water must always move forward. The river does not stop to hold on to what has passed, and neither should we." This simple yet profound story reveals a deep truth. The river of life, like time itself, is always moving. No matter how much we try to hold on to the past, whether it is a moment of success, a relationship, or a time when we felt at our peak, these moments will eventually fade. The river moves on, and so must we. The monk's message is clear: we must learn to let go of the need to be remembered. For our true legacy lies not in the name we leave behind, but in the way we live in the present moment. What really matters? The ripple effect of our actions. The story of the monk and the river invites us to reflect on what truly matters in life. It is easy to get caught up in a desire for recognition, to want our names to be etched in the history books or remembered long after we are gone. But the monk teaches us that it is not our name, our fame, or our material possessions that leave a lasting impact. Instead, it is the way we live, the kindness we show, and the love we give to others that truly endures. Think about it. How many of us remember the names of every person who has made a positive impact in our lives? Perhaps we do not remember the names of all our teachers, but we remember the lessons they taught us. We may not remember the faces of every person who helped us when we were in need, but we remember the warmth of their presence and the kindness they extended. It is the ripples of goodness we create, not the desire to be remembered, that shapes the world. This truth is liberating. It frees us from the pressure of trying to leave a grand legacy for future generations. Instead, we are encouraged to focus on living well in the present moment, to be fully present in each interaction, and to cultivate the qualities that make life meaningful: compassion, wisdom, and love. These are the ripples that will continue to flow long after we are gone. The call to action. Embrace the flow of life. At this point, you might be asking yourself, what can I do to live more fully in the present moment? How can I embrace the impermanence of life and make a meaningful impact? The answer lies in mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in each moment, without attachment or distraction. By cultivating mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. We learn to let go of the need for control and allow life to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean we stop striving for success or working toward our goals. Rather, it means we focus on a journey rather than a destination. In each moment, we can choose to act with kindness, to speak with compassion, and to live with integrity. When we live in alignment with these values, we create ripples of goodness that extend beyond our immediate surroundings, touching the lives of others in ways we may never fully understand. So, as you move through your day, ask yourself, what ripples are you creating? Are you living with intention and presence? Or are you allowing the flow of life to pass you by? If you are inspired by this message, I encourage you to take a moment each day to reflect on your actions. Practice mindfulness, embrace impermanence, and focus on the present moment. And, if this message resonates with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more insights on living a meaningful and fulfilling life in alignment with Buddhist wisdom. The wisdom of letting go. Ultimately, the Buddhist teachings on impermanence and non-self remind us that the key to peace and happiness is letting go. We are not fixed, unchanging beings. We are like rivers, constantly flowing and evolving. Our true legacy lies not in the things we accumulate or the recognition we receive, but in the way we live our lives. By embracing the flow of life, we free ourselves from the burden of attachment and open ourselves to the beauty of each moment. As the monk said, the river does not cling to yesterday's water. Neither should we. Let go of the need to hold on to what has passed and embrace the flow of life with grace and acceptance. In doing so, you will discover a peace that transcends time and a joy that is found in living fully in the present moment. Reflecting on the teachings. As you continue on your journey, take a moment to reflect on the impermanence of life. Notice the ways in which you might be clinging to the past, whether it's a past version of yourself, a lost relationship, or a former accomplishment. And then, with compassion for yourself, let go. Trust that the river of life will carry you forward, just as it has carried countless others before you. Remember, it is not the things we hold on to that define us, but the way we live in each moment. As you let go of the past, you will discover the freedom to live more fully in the present, creating ripples of love, kindness, and wisdom that will endure far beyond your time. By embracing the impermanence of life, you open yourself to a deeper understanding of what truly matters. And that is the key to living a life of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. So, take a deep breath, let go, and allow yourself to be carried by the river of life. To befriend your body. A journey of gratitude and acceptance. As we age, we inevitably encounter the undeniable truth that our bodies change. The body that once served us with boundless energy begins to slow down, and tasks that once felt effortless now become challenging. It's not uncommon to experience frustration, even a sense of betrayal, as we witness the physical changes that come with age. We may find ourselves longing for the youthful vigor we once had, wishing that our bodies could perform as they did in our prime. What if, instead of resisting these changes, we could approach our bodies with gratitude and compassion? What if we could see them not as enemies, but as faithful companions on our life's journey? A Buddhist perspective on aging and the body. In the teachings of Buddhism, there is an essential understanding that our bodies are not permanent, but impermanent, just like everything else in life. The Buddha spoke extensively about anicca, impermanence, explaining that all things in this world, including our bodies, are in a constant state of change. While we may feel the weight of this change, Buddhism teaches us that this is not something to fear or resist, but something to embrace with wisdom and equanimity. The body is often seen as a vessel, a vehicle that carries us through life's experiences. It is not the body itself that defines us, but how we treat it, nurture it, and care for it. In Buddhism, the mind and body are closely interconnected, and the way we treat our bodies can deeply influence our mental and emotional well-being. Instead of viewing the body as a source of frustration or disappointment, Buddhism encourages us to view it with respect and gratitude. The concept of Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, offers guidance on how to cultivate a compassionate relationship with our bodies, rather than focusing on what is lost or what is no longer possible. We can shift our perspective to appreciate the ways in which our bodies continue to serve us, even in their changed state. It is through this lens of gratitude that we can find peace with the natural aging process, and deepen our understanding of the impermanence of all things. A beautiful parable. The monk and the cracked pot. To better understand how we can cultivate gratitude for our bodies, let us turn to a beautiful Buddhist parable that illustrates this very lesson. There was once an elderly monk who lived in a small monastery, nestled near a river. For many years, this monk had carried water from the river to the monastery in a sturdy clay pot. The pot, though simple, had always been reliable, allowing the monk to fulfill his duties without difficulty. However, as the years passed, the monk began to notice that his arms grew weaker, and the pot, too, began to show signs of wear. The once perfect vessel now had cracks, and the monk found it increasingly difficult to carry the heavy water containers. One day, as the monk struggled to fill the pot with water, he became disheartened and approached his master. "Master," he said, "I feel as though my body has failed me. It no longer serves me as it once did. Why has it betrayed me in my old age?" The master, with a gentle smile, handed the monk a cracked clay pot. "This pot," the master said, "was once a perfect vessel, but now it is cracked. Does it mean the pot is useless?" The monk looked at the pot, observing the cracks and the imperfections. He shook his head and replied, "No, master. The pot may be cracked, but it still serves its purpose. It still holds water and nourishes the plants along the riverbank." The master nodded and said, "Just like this pot, your body may be worn, but it still serves you. Your body, like the pot, has carried you through many years, bringing you nourishment, strength, and the ability to serve others. Even though your body may no longer be as strong as it once was, it continues to serve you in ways that are often unseen. The water it holds nourishes your spirit, just as this pot nourishes the earth." The lesson of gratitude. This simple yet profound story reminds us that aging is not about focusing on what is lost, but on what remains. The monk's body, like the cracked pot, may not be as strong as it once was, but it still serves a purpose. It still carries him through life's journey, providing the necessary tools to continue fulfilling his duties. And in the same way, our bodies, though they may change and age, still serve us. Our bodies have carried us through countless experiences, helping us to walk, to speak, to embrace, and to nurture. Instead of lamenting the loss of physical strength, we can choose to focus on what remains: our ability to experience life, to love, to learn, and to grow. The body may become frail, but the spirit remains vibrant and alive. Through the lens of gratitude, we begin to see the value in what remains, rather than in what has been lost. Gratitude for the body is not just about physical strength, but about the life experiences that the body has allowed us to have. Each wrinkle, each ache, each scar tells the story of a life lived, a life full of growth, wisdom, and love. The body may no longer be as youthful as it once was, but it still carries the wisdom and the memories of the years gone by. In Buddhist teachings, there is a concept known as sati, mindfulness, which invites us to be fully present with our bodies and to appreciate them for what they are in the present moment. This practice encourages us to be aware of the sensations in our bodies without judgment or attachment. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to be grateful for our bodies as they are, without wishing for them to be different. We can be mindful of the way our body feels, the way it moves, and the way it supports us in each moment. A practical approach to caring for the body. So, how can we apply this understanding of gratitude and mindfulness in our daily lives? How can we care for our bodies with respect and compassion as they age? 1. Listen to your body. One of the first steps in cultivating gratitude for the body is to listen to it. As we age, our bodies communicate with us in subtle ways. It may be through aches and pains, fatigue, or changes in appetite. Instead of ignoring these signals, we must learn to listen to what our bodies are telling us. When we listen to our bodies, we can give them the care and rest they need. This might mean taking a break when we feel tired, eating nourishing foods, or engaging in gentle movement to keep the body active and strong. 2. Cultivate mindfulness in movement. As our bodies change, it becomes even more important to cultivate mindfulness in our movements. Whether we are walking, stretching, or simply sitting, we can practice being fully present with our bodies. By paying attention to the sensations of the body, we develop a deeper appreciation for what it is capable of, even in its aged state. 3. Show compassion for your body. The aging body can often be a source of frustration, but it is essential to show compassion to ourselves during this time. Compassion is an integral part of Buddhist practice, and it can be extended to our own bodies as well. Instead of criticizing ourselves for changes that are beyond our control, we can respond with kindness and understanding. The body has faithfully carried us through many years, and it deserves to be treated with love and compassion, especially as it grows older. 4. Accept the impermanence of the body. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the acceptance of impermanence. Our bodies, like everything else in life, are temporary. This is not something to be feared, but rather something to be embraced. By accepting the impermanence of the body, we free ourselves from the attachment to youth and physical perfection. We can appreciate our bodies for what they are in the present moment, without longing for what they once were or fearing what they will become. The call to action. Cultivate gratitude for your body. As you reflect on the teachings of Buddhism and the story of the monk with the cracked pot, I invite you to take a moment to express gratitude for your body. What has your body allowed you to experience in this life? How has it served you, even as it has changed over the years? Take time to care for your body with mindfulness and compassion. Listen to it, nourish it, and honor it for all that it has done for you. When you practice gratitude for your body, you will begin to see it not as an obstacle, but as a faithful companion on your journey of life. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community of gratitude and mindfulness, where we support each other in embracing the changes of life with grace and wisdom. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling and meaningful life. Together, let's walk this path of acceptance, gratitude, and spiritual growth. 3. The natural drift of relationships. Embracing impermanence in the flow of life. As we move through life, we naturally encounter countless relationships: family, friends, colleagues, mentors, and even strangers. These relationships shape us, challenge us, and support us in ways we cannot always articulate. Yet, as time progresses and we age, we begin to notice a pattern. Some people who were once close to us begin to drift away. Others, who were once a central part of our lives, become distant, and some may disappear altogether. The realization that relationships evolve and fade can be a difficult and painful truth to face. It is often accompanied by feelings of abandonment, loneliness, and a desire to hold on to what we've lost. In these moments of loss, we may question, why do people leave us? Why do we experience separation from those we love? The Buddha, in his profound wisdom, offers us a unique perspective on this very truth. According to Buddhist philosophy, all things in life, including relationships, are impermanent. Nothing lasts forever, and this natural drift of relationships is a reflection of the greater law of impermanence, or anicca. Just as the seasons change, as day turns to night, and as the river flows ever onward, relationships, too, must evolve and change. Buddhism and the concept of impermanence in relationships. The first teaching we must embrace to understand the natural drift of relationships is anicca, the doctrine of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly in flux. Our bodies, our thoughts, and, indeed, our relationships are all subject to change. In Buddhism, this understanding is not seen as something to fear but as a liberating truth. Once we acknowledge that everything is in a state of constant change, we are freed from the suffering that comes with attachment to the way things should be. It is important to note that in Buddhism, attachment is one of the primary causes of suffering, dukkha. When we cling to things, whether it's a person, an experience, or a material possession, we inevitably set ourselves up for disappointment. Because all things are subject to change, relationships, which we often hold close and dearly, are no exception. It is not that we should stop caring for others or withdraw from meaningful connections, but rather that we should approach relationships with awareness and a deeper understanding of their impermanence. This way, we can love more freely, without the fear of loss or the need for control. The parable of the river and the young monk. There is a story from the Buddhist tradition that beautifully illustrates this principle. It is a story of a young monk, who, in the early years of his training, sought to understand the transient nature of human connections and the pain that comes with losing loved ones. One day, the young monk went to his teacher and asked, "Master, why do people leave us, especially when we love them so much? It feels as if they vanished from our lives, and we are left behind, alone. Does love not hold people together?" The master, wise and serene, smiled gently and motioned for the young monk to follow him to the riverbank. As they walked beside the flowing water, the master pointed to the stream. "Do you see how each drop of water flows past us?" the master asked. "Some drops stay with us for a while, some move quickly and disappear into the current, and others remain longer, but all must continue to flow." The monk, gazing at the river, began to understand the lesson the master was trying to impart. "So, you mean to say," he asked, "that people are like these drops in the river?" The master nodded and continued, "Yes, the people who come into your life are like the drops in the river. They may stay for a time, and you may come to love them dearly. But just as the river flows, so do people. Some will stay with you for a while and leave when their role in your life is complete. Others will remain longer, but in the end, all must continue on their path, as the river does." The monk paused, reflecting deeply on the master's words. He understood that love does not mean possession, and that no person is meant to stay with us forever. The people who come into our lives are there for a purpose. Some stay for a season, while others for a lifetime. But in the end, they must all flow away, just as the river does. The young monk had been taught a vital lesson: to love freely, without attachment, to cherish the relationships we have while recognizing that they, too, are part of the natural flow of life's impermanence. Rather than clinging to what we cannot hold, we are encouraged to appreciate and honor the connections we have while they last, and to release them gracefully when the time comes. The pain of letting go and the wisdom of acceptance The natural drift of relationships is, without a doubt, a source of pain for many. As we grow older, we inevitably witness the fading of some friendships, the distance of family members, or the passing of loved ones. It's natural to grieve the loss of these connections. But Buddhism teaches us that grief, while a natural response, should not hold us in a state of suffering. We must learn to accept the impermanence of relationships and understand that the pain we feel when someone leaves is not an indication of something wrong with us, but rather a reflection of the natural course of life. When someone we love drifts away, or when we experience the end of a relationship, it can be painful, but it is also an opportunity for growth. Buddhism encourages us to look at these moments of loss as invitations to practice equanimity, a state of inner balance and peace, undisturbed by the ups and downs of life. By accepting that relationships change, we learn to live with more peace and less attachment to the idea of permanence. Acceptance of the impermanence of relationships does not mean that we stop caring or that we are indifferent to the people we encounter. Rather, it means that we learn to love with an open heart, without holding on tightly to others. It means understanding that every relationship, whether brief or long-lasting, carries a lesson and a purpose. How to embrace the natural drift of relationships. Buddhism offers several practices that can help us embrace the natural drift of relationships with grace and understanding. These practices not only help us cope with the pain of change but also open us up to deeper, more fulfilling connections. 1. Practice mindfulness in relationships. The first step in accepting the impermanence of relationships is to practice mindfulness in our interactions with others. Mindfulness allows us to be fully present with the people in our lives, appreciating the moments we share without fear of losing them. When we practice mindfulness, we are not focused on the future or the past, but on the beauty of the present moment. This allows us to truly engage with others and cherish the time we have together, knowing that it is fleeting. 2. Let go of attachment. Attachment is one of the primary causes of suffering in relationships. While it's natural to care deeply for others, attachment arises when we believe that we own or control the people in our lives. To love without attachment is to love freely, without the expectation that others must stay or behave as we wish. By letting go of attachment, we can experience love and connection without the fear of loss. 3. Cherish the relationships you have. As relationships change and people come and go, it's important to focus on cherishing the relationships that are still in our lives. Take time to appreciate those who are present and show gratitude for their love, support, and companionship. Even as relationships evolve, there is great beauty in the connections we continue to nurture. 4. Embrace new connections. As old relationships fade, new ones emerge. Buddhism teaches us to remain open to new experiences and relationships, without clinging to the past. New people may come into our lives when we least expect it, and each new connection holds the potential for growth, learning, and understanding. By embracing these new relationships, we allow ourselves to continue evolving and learning from others. The call to action. Living with acceptance and open heart. As you reflect on the impermanence of relationships and the wisdom shared in the story of the young monk and his master, I invite you to think about your own relationships. Are there people in your life whom you are holding on to too tightly? Are there relationships that have drifted away that you have not fully accepted? Take a moment today to reflect on the relationships that matter most to you, and consider how you can embrace them with an open heart. Appreciate the people who are present in your life, without attachment or expectation. And as relationships change, remember that each person who enters your life does so with a purpose, and that purpose may change over time. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can discuss the impermanence of relationships and the wisdom that comes with accepting change. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel for more insights into living a mindful and peaceful life. Together, we can embrace the flow of life and learn to love without attachment, knowing that every connection has its purpose, and every departure leaves us with a lesson. For true beauty comes with wisdom, embracing the impermanence of aging. As time passes and we grow older, we often find ourselves confronting a shift in how we perceive beauty. The youthful appearance we once had starts to fade, replaced by signs of age, wrinkles, gray hair, and changes in our body. The media, society, and even our own minds may tell us that these signs of aging are undesirable, something to be erased or hidden. We might feel a sense of loss when we see the changes in our appearance, comparing ourselves to the youth we once were. Yet, in the Buddhist tradition, true beauty is not defined by the external, but by the qualities that deepen and grow within us as we age: wisdom, kindness, and grace. In Buddhism, aging is seen as an integral part of life's journey, not something to be feared or resisted. Rather than focusing on the external signs of aging, the teachings invite us to turn inward, to discover the beauty that comes with the accumulation of experience, wisdom, and compassion. In this way, aging becomes a process of transformation, where the inner qualities that define true beauty emerge more powerfully than any external features. The Buddhist perspective on aging and beauty. Buddhism teaches that all things are impermanent, including our bodies. This principle, known as anicca, impermanence, invites us to accept that change is a natural part of life. Our bodies, like everything else, are in a constant state of flux. Just as the seasons change and the flowers bloom and wither, our physical forms change with the passage of time. However, Buddhism does not view aging as a negative process. Rather, it encourages us to see it as an opportunity for spiritual growth and enlightenment. In Buddhist teachings, true beauty is not found in the outward appearance but in the qualities of the heart and mind. As we age, our physical beauty may fade, but our capacity for kindness, wisdom, and understanding deepens. These inner qualities are what truly define beauty, according to Buddhist philosophy. The mind that is calm, compassionate, and free from attachment is the most beautiful aspect of a person. And this beauty only becomes more radiant as we age. A Zen story. The cherry blossom and the pine tree. To better understand the Buddhist perspective on aging and beauty, let's consider a Zen story that offers profound insights into how we can view aging as a beautiful and dignified process. An elderly woman, troubled by the changes in her appearance, went to visit a Zen master. She felt distressed by the wrinkles on her face, the gray in her hair, and the signs of aging that had taken over her once youthful body. She said to the master, "Master, I no longer recognize myself. My beauty has faded. I am no longer the person I once was." The master, hearing her sorrow, smiled gently and led her outside to a garden where a cherry blossom tree stood in full bloom. The delicate pink flowers swayed in the breeze, their beauty striking and vibrant. "This," the master said, pointing to the cherry blossom tree, "is beauty, isn't it?" The woman nodded, her eyes softening as she gazed at the tree. "Yes, master, it is beautiful," she replied, touched by the sight of the blossoms in their prime. The master then pointed to an ancient pine tree nearby. The pine's bark was weathered, and its branches twisted in strange and beautiful patterns. "And this tree?" the master asked. "What do you think of this tree?" The woman hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to respond. She saw the pine tree's rough, aged appearance, its twisted branches, and its faded needles. Yet, there was a quiet dignity in the way it stood, strong and enduring despite the passage of time. "It is different," she said slowly. But there is something dignified about it. Something strong and enduring. The master smiled and said, "Just as the cherry blossom is beautiful in its fleeting moment, so too is the pine tree beautiful in its strength and endurance. Both are beautiful, though their beauty is different. The cherry blossom's beauty comes from its delicate, brief life, while the pine tree's beauty comes from the wisdom and strength it gains with age." The woman stood in silence, contemplating the master's words. She understood that the beauty of the cherry blossom was not superior to the beauty of the pine tree. Both had their unique qualities, shaped by time, experience, and the cycle of life. In the same way, she realized, her own beauty had changed, not diminished, but transformed into something deeper and more enduring. The wisdom of aging. A crown of experience. In the Buddhist view, aging is not something to resist, but something to embrace. Our wrinkles, our gray hair, and the changes in our bodies are not signs of failure or loss, but reminders of a life well lived. Each wrinkle tells the story of a life filled with laughter, tears, struggles, and triumphs. Each gray hair is a crown of experience, representing the wisdom we have accumulated over the years. Buddhist teachings encourage us to let go of the attachment to youthful appearance, and to recognize that true beauty comes with the wisdom that we acquire as we age. The mind that has experienced hardship and joy, that has learned compassion and equanimity, is a mind that radiates true beauty. It is this beauty that remains long after the body fades. Consider, for example, the elders in your life who have grown old with grace. Perhaps they no longer possess the physical beauty they once had, but they radiate a quiet strength and wisdom that makes them even more beautiful in your eyes. They are not defined by their external appearance, but by the qualities they embody: kindness, patience, resilience, and understanding. This beauty is not fleeting. It is grounded in the inner peace and acceptance that comes with time. As we age, we have the opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We become less concerned with outward appearances and more focused on cultivating inner peace and wisdom. This transformation is where true beauty lies. The role of compassion in aging. Compassion is another central aspect of Buddhist teachings that deepens with age. As we grow older, we become more attuned to the suffering of others. Having experienced our own challenges and difficulties, the ability to empathize with others, to offer support and kindness, is a form of beauty that only grows stronger with time. The more we let go of our attachment to the self, the more we open ourselves to the needs of others. In aging, we often find that we are more patient and forgiving, qualities that come from a lifetime of learning and self-reflection. The wisdom gained from experience allows us to see the impermanence of life and to approach others with a gentle heart. This compassion, which is rooted in deep understanding and acceptance, is perhaps the most beautiful gift that aging brings. How to cultivate beauty as we age. As we embrace the beauty of aging, there are several Buddhist practices that can help us cultivate a sense of peace, grace, and wisdom as we grow older. 1. Practice mindfulness of the body. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is mindfulness, which invites us to be present in each moment, including our experience of aging. Instead of focusing on what we have lost, we can practice mindfulness by fully appreciating the body as it is now. We can take time to appreciate our breath, our movements, and the sensations in our body without judgment or attachment. By being present with our bodies, we can cultivate gratitude for the strength and resilience they provide. To let go of attachment to youth. The Buddha teaches us that attachment is the root of suffering. In the context of aging, we must let go of the attachment to youth and physical perfection. This does not mean we should neglect our health or self-care, but we must stop measuring our worth by external appearance. we must accept that the changes in our bodies are natural and beautiful in their own way. 3. Cultivate compassion for yourself as we age. It is easy to become critical of ourselves, especially when we notice changes in our appearance or abilities. Buddhism teaches that we should treat ourselves with compassion, just as we would treat a dear friend. Aging is not something to regret, but something to accept with love and understanding. By practicing self-compassion, we can embrace the aging process with grace. 4. Focus on inner qualities. True beauty comes from within. As we age, we have the opportunity to deepen our inner qualities: wisdom, kindness, patience, and humility. These qualities are not affected by time or age. In fact, they grow stronger as we gain more life experience. By focusing on these inner qualities, we can cultivate a beauty that transcends the physical and endures throughout the years. The call to action. Embrace your beauty at every age. As you reflect on the story of the cherry blossom and the pine tree, consider how you can embrace the beauty of aging in your own life. What wisdom and strength have you gained over the years? How can you cultivate a beauty that comes from within, rooted in compassion, kindness, and wisdom? Take a moment to appreciate the changes in your body, knowing that they are part of your journey. Celebrate the experiences that have shaped you, and let go of any attachment to youth or perfection. True beauty lies in the acceptance of yourself as you are, in the wisdom you have gained, and in the kindness you share with others. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community that celebrates the beauty of aging, where we embrace the wisdom that comes with time and cultivate a beauty that transcends the physical. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more insights on living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Together, let's walk the path of grace, wisdom, and true beauty. The love endures beyond death. Embracing the impermanence of life with compassion and wisdom. In the course of our lives, there are few certainties as painful as loss. As we age, it is inevitable that we will experience the death of those we hold dear: family members, friends, mentors, and companions. The feeling of grief, when it visits us, can seem insurmountable. The world feels emptier, quieter, and our hearts bear a weight that seems unbearable. We often find ourselves asking, how can we go on? But Buddhism offers us a perspective that transforms this pain into a path of healing, understanding, and deeper connection. It teaches us that love is not bound by the physical realm and that love endures beyond death. This profound teaching on love is deeply rooted in the Buddha's wisdom on impermanence, attachment, and the nature of existence. Buddhism encourages us to look at loss not as an end but as a transition, and to understand that the people we have loved continue to live on through the lessons they taught us, the kindness they shared, and the love that still remains in our hearts. This truth, while difficult to grasp in the throes of grief, offers solace and peace, helping us navigate the pain of loss with grace and acceptance. Buddhism and the nature of love beyond death. Buddhism teaches that everything in this world is impermanent. This fundamental truth is known as anicca, impermanence, and it reminds us that nothing lasts forever. Our bodies, our experiences, our relationships, all of these are fleeting. But within this transient nature lies the great wisdom that can free us from suffering. The understanding that nothing is truly lost. In fact, we are never truly separated from those we love, because the love we share with them transcends physical death. While loss may bring immense sorrow, Buddhism teaches that we are not defined by our pain, nor are we confined by the physical absence of our loved ones. The people we have loved live on within us in our memories, in our actions, and in the ways they have shaped our lives. Love, in its truest form, is eternal. It is not bound by the limitations of the body or time. The bonds we form through love are spiritual, and they endure beyond the physical realm. This perspective can be transformative, allowing us to grieve deeply, yet without becoming consumed by sorrow. In Buddhism, dukkha, suffering, is not seen as something to avoid, but as something that can lead to insight and understanding when approached with mindfulness and compassion. It is through love that we find solace, and it is through love that we transcend the pain of loss. A powerful Buddhist parable. The story of Kisagami. To illustrate this concept, let us turn to a pointed Buddhist parable, one that speaks directly to the heart of loss, grief, and the enduring nature of love. The story is about a woman named Kisagami, a mother who had lost her young son. Overcome with grief, she could not bear the thought of living without him. In her desperation, she sought out a remedy to restore him to life. She traveled far and wide, asking anyone she met if they could provide a cure for death. After many fruitless searches, she encountered a wise elder who told her that he could help her, but only if she could bring him a mustard seed from a household that had never known death. The elder explained, "If you bring me a mustard seed from a home that has not been touched by loss, your son will be revived." Filled with hope, Kisagami set out on her journey to find such a household. She knocked on doors, one after another, asking for a mustard seed. But each person she encountered shared the same story. Every household had known death. A child had passed away, a spouse had died, or a parent had gone. Every single person had experienced loss. Kisagami came to understand that no one in the world is immune to grief. That suffering and loss are universal experiences that bind us all. Eventually, Kisagami returned to the elder with no mustard seed, but with a newfound understanding. She realized that death was an inescapable part of life, and that while her son was physically gone, his spirit and the love they shared would remain with her forever. The elder, seeing her newfound wisdom, smiled gently and told her, "You have found the seed of understanding, Kisagami. Your grief is a reflection of the love you have for your son. Though his physical form has passed, his love remains within you, and the love you have shared will never die." The eternal nature of love. Lessons from Kisagami. The story of Kisagami is a powerful reminder that the love we experience in our relationships is not bound by death. While our loved ones may no longer be with us in a physical sense, their influence, love, and wisdom continue to shape our lives. Love is not a fleeting emotion, it is a force that transcends time and space. It is through love that we connect to the past, the present, and the future. Kisagami's journey is also a journey of realization. Initially, she was consumed by the pain of her son's death, desperately seeking to reverse the natural course of life. But through her quest, she learned that the key to peace is not in trying to change the inevitable, but in accepting the impermanence of life and recognizing the eternal nature of love. The love she shared with her son had not disappeared with his physical death. Instead, it had transformed into something deeper, something that would continue to guide and sustain her. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to cultivate an attitude of acceptance toward loss. This does not mean that we suppress our grief or deny the pain we feel. Rather, it means that we acknowledge the natural flow of life and death, and learn to find meaning and solace in the love we have shared. Grief, when approached with mindfulness and compassion, becomes a way to connect more deeply with the truth of our lives. How love transcends death. A Buddhist practice. Buddhism teaches us that love is a powerful force for healing, not only in life but also in death. When we experience the loss of a loved one, it is natural to grieve. But Buddhist practice encourages us to channel that grief into love, remembrance, and compassion. Through meditation and mindfulness, we can reconnect with the essence of the person we have lost and continue to honor them in our actions. One, practice mindfulness of the loved ones who have passed. One of the most powerful ways to honor those we have lost is to bring them into our hearts through mindfulness. This can be done by sitting in meditation and reflecting on the love we shared with them, recalling their qualities, their teachings, and the moments we cherished together. In these moments of mindfulness, we are reminded that love does not die, it transforms and continues to influence us. To offer compassion to yourself and others, grief can be overwhelming. But it is important to offer compassion to ourselves as we navigate the pain of loss. Buddhist practice teaches us to be gentle with ourselves, to allow ourselves to grieve, and to accept the emotional waves that arise. At the same time, we can extend compassion to others who are grieving. By supporting others in their journey of loss, we keep the bonds of love alive. 3. Reflect on the teachings of the deceased. In many Buddhist traditions, the teachings of the deceased are considered a source of wisdom and inspiration. We can honor the memory of our loved ones by reflecting on the lessons they taught us and how we can live according to their example. By carrying forward their wisdom, we keep their presence alive within us. 4. Cultivate gratitude for the time we had together instead of focusing solely on the pain of loss. Buddhist practice invites us to cultivate gratitude for the time we spent with our loved ones. Each moment of connection, each shared experience, is a gift. Even though the physical presence of a loved one may be gone, the gratitude we feel for their love and companionship remains a powerful force in our lives. The call to action: carrying forward the love and wisdom of the departed. As we move through life, we will undoubtedly encounter loss. But in each loss, there is an opportunity for growth, reflection, and connection. I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the loved ones you have lost. What lessons did they teach you? How did they shape your life? And how can you continue to carry their love and wisdom with you as you move forward? When we understand that love endures beyond death, we can grieve without despair and remember our loved ones with compassion and joy. They are never truly gone, for they live on in our hearts, in our actions, and in the love we continue to share with others. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community of love and remembrance, where we can support each other through the journey of loss and celebrate the eternal nature of love. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more insights into how Buddhist wisdom can help us navigate life's challenges with peace, acceptance, and love. Conclusion: embracing aging with grace and wisdom, a journey of transformation. As we reflect on the teachings of the Buddha, it becomes clear that aging is not something to be feared or resisted. In a world that often places such heavy emphasis on youth and physical appearance, it is easy to fall into the trap of seeing aging as a loss. Yet, as we've explored today, aging is not a battle to be won, but a journey to be embraced, one that brings with it wisdom, growth, and the opportunity to cultivate deeper relationships and a greater understanding of life itself. The Buddhist teachings guide us to see aging through a different lens. Rather than fighting against the inevitable changes that come with age, Buddhism teaches us to accept and even celebrate them. Each wrinkle on our face, each gray hair, and each new ache or limitation we encounter carries the story of our life, the story of wisdom gained through experience, the story of love given and received, and the story of all the relationships that have shaped who we are today. Aging offers us a unique opportunity to reflect on our journey, to appreciate the wisdom we've gathered along the way, and to share that wisdom with others. As the years pass, We are given the gift of perspective, the perspective that allows us to appreciate life's fleeting moments more deeply and to find joy in the simplicity of everyday experiences. Through the lens of Buddhism, we learn that aging is not something to mourn, but something to be grateful for. It is a time to cultivate compassion for ourselves and for others, and to nurture the relationships that bring us fulfillment and joy. As we age, we also realize that love, one of the most beautiful aspects of life, does not fade with time. The love we've shared with those who have passed continues to live in our hearts, and the love we share with those still with us continues to shape our actions and our presence in the world. Aging reminds us that love is not bound by time or physical appearance. It is an enduring, transformative force that transcends the limitations of the body. Just as the wisdom we gain with age deepens our understanding, so too does our capacity for love grow stronger and more profound over time. So, how can we apply these teachings to our own lives? The answer lies in the way we approach aging. Instead of seeing it as something to resist, we can choose to embrace it with grace, compassion, and wisdom. The first step is to let go of our attachment to youth and the societal standards of beauty. It's not about looking young forever. It's about finding beauty in the wisdom that comes with age and in the inner peace we cultivate as we grow. We can also practice mindfulness and gratitude, recognizing the beauty of each moment and appreciating the relationships that matter most to us. By living with intention and mindfulness, we can age not just with grace, but with a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. Buddhism teaches us that our time on this earth is limited, and it is our responsibility to use that time wisely. As we age, it's important to reflect on how we can continue to live with integrity, kindness, and compassion. It's never too late to start new practices, to learn new things, or to deepen our relationships with others. Every day is an opportunity to grow spiritually, to share our wisdom with others, and to make a positive impact on the world around us. As we approach the later years of life, we may also find ourselves confronting loss. The passing of loved ones, the fading of friendships, and the inevitable changes in our own bodies can bring with them feelings of grief and sadness. But Buddhism teaches us that loss is a natural part of life, and that it is through love and acceptance that we find healing. Just as the pine tree's strength comes from enduring the seasons, our strength comes from accepting the impermanence of life and learning to find peace in the midst of change. If you've found these insights helpful and thought-provoking, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to Buddhist Stories. By subscribing, you'll be joining a community that seeks to explore the deeper truths of life, sharing in the wisdom of the Buddha as we navigate our own journeys of aging, love, and transformation. Let's continue this journey together and explore how we can apply Buddhist teachings to every aspect of our lives, from relationships to personal growth. As we conclude today's video, I want to leave you with a thought. Aging is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It is a journey of transformation, of growth, and of deepening wisdom. So, let us look forward to the years ahead with an open heart, ready to embrace the beauty that comes with each stage of life. And in the next video, we'll explore how to deepen our mindfulness practice as we age, helping us to live with greater clarity and purpose in each moment. So, stay tuned, and thank you for joining us on this path of wisdom and self-discovery.